Hi, my name is Grace Kamau. I am a fifth year finalist student studying petroleum and chemical engineering here at the University of Nairobi. And I am the immediate former University of Nairobi Student Association Council Treasurer. So that means I was in charge of everything monetary to do with the Student Association and student funds. Yes, thank you. So my history is very long. It started in first year. In first year, I was first recognized by one of the admin in our faculty. And he thought that I was very outspoken. So he thought that I would be really good at leadership. But before then, I actually picked University of Nairobi because I had seen everything on the news concerning different strikes, concerning different, activities in the university. And I felt like that was a place for me. Already then I had a very radical way of thinking. So I knew when I joined the University of Nairobi, I'd be able to actually learn how it is to be a leader. Yes, so when I was a class rep, from there I was first exposed to politics because when you're a class rep, you actually handle matters for a big group. So in that case, I was able to now meet the politicians that were actually seeking for votes from my class, and they thought I was good enough, so I joined actually one of their teams at the end of the first year because the elections were delayed. That was my first stunt in politics, and it didn't go so well. We did not win the election, but it set me up at a very high level that at the start of my second year, at the end of my first year, I had loyalists, I had supporters, I had people I would rely on fully for everything in my political journey, which I think is better than actually winning the seat. Yes, so from there, my next time entering an election was the Engineering Students Association. But prior to that, I did major stunts in engineering. At this point, we moved to faculties. So I would have vied in the Faculty of Engineering, or I would get votes from only the Faculty of Engineering. So in that position, before I actually vied for the Engineering Students Association, I was the MC. I served students widely. I did everything. So at this point, everyone knew me, and actually, I was told, please actually seek a position, a very high position in this association. So I did, and I went for the highest bar I can go, and I vied against someone who was a year older than me, which was crazy, and had a bigger class. Yes. So the key factors, I think, were the people I was with. I get inspired by people and people's journeys. So I had enough people who held my hand. That's what I would say. All of the positions that I occupied, it wasn't that I absolutely deserved to be in that role. I did not do anything that was so outstanding that people were like, you know what, Grace must have this thing. But the people that I met and the knowledge that they impacted on me, especially about student politics and the whole journey of elections, really cut a lot of time for me. A lot of people spend a lot of energy looking for loyalists, looking for supporters, looking for paying different. Politics is not cheap. You have to pay people, and your loyalty is how much you can give in resources, in money, whatever it is. So I didn't have to do that. Interestingly enough, I had everything that I needed. So I'd say God really just opened the way and was like, just go. First time I did an election when I was at the end of first year, I didn't have any money, that's honest. But I wasn't the chair of the team. In your end, the chair of the team normally is the one who contributes the most money. So at that time, I didn't have to contribute much. I think I contributed less than 10,000 shillings, which was very little money. But when I vied for the Engineering Students Association, I needed money. I had to put a banner, I had to print cards, I had to print posters. You have to pay agents, you have to pay my delegates. Yeah. I have to pay money, right? So then I can say, gracious to God, I had quite a lot of money in my bank account. So I didn't get any money from anyone for that election. And it cost me a lot of money. So the role of a treasurer is actually to hold the entire association accountable. And that's mainly to do with money, but mostly resources. So we're supposed to be in charge of anything that is either given to the association or is, distributed to its members. So I was in charge of writing and executing all the requests for every coin that came out of the university's account. Had to have my signature, and I had to draft everything. How the money was supposed to go to which faculty, it was supposed to go to the council, how much, and also in terms of the budget that it was supposed to be spent on. So we're 7 people in our council, so everyone had their own roles that were given to them by the Constitution. But I wouldn't say that we necessarily stuck to those roles. We always just used to do what we could be able to manage and to do. So Malit's approach to leadership was very headstrong. She wanted to know everything that was happening. There was no budget, there's nothing that would have, gone under the radar. She was full on everything. In the team, we had 3 signatories, myself, our chairperson, and the Secretary General. I can speak maybe in office and out of office. In office, I was able to really fight for the budget. And one major impact we made was we had 7 secretariat members, which was not possible. The last regime only had 2, and we wanted 10. So you can imagine how the kickback the school gave us for us to even get to 7. It was huge, huge. So that had a financial implication, and that's why they were fighting us. So a lot of the time I was called into the office to explain why this budget, why did you arrange it this way, and what was your thinking. So that's one of them. The second thing was I raised the salaries for all members of the association. Another thing was we requested and actually removed 1.8 million shillings for one singular event, which is 1.8 million. It's a lot of money. Yeah, so 1.8 million, and then a number of activities we had were really good. It's unfortunate we weren't able to do them, but according to the proposed and approved budget, we were supposed to have an innovation week. We were supposed to have a tech and skills week, and those were huge money activities that we were not given. But I think those are the things that the office where I was sitting, I was able to execute, and I did. And I was very happy with. As an individual, I was able to contribute to various different initiatives, support different students, and just to ensure that especially the neediest of our students actually were recognized and actually got something. I was nominated to sit in a committee, but not really. It's like I was just given a role, and I was told, okay, you just sit here, just to be there. But I was very happy that in that process, I was actually able to question how bursaries are distributed, which is very key. So I had a very key part to play there. Also, bursaries gave the highest amount of students receiving bursaries per faculty. Okay, that one was challenging because I do engineering. Interestingly, for me, UNSA became a priority at some point. So when I wake up in the morning, I used to wake up around 4 a.m. The first thing I would do was get the letters out of the way. So every month we always do request for money, request for this, blah, blah, blah. So I drafted all of the request letters for every budget. So I did that the first thing when I wake up, and I always communicate with my teammates like, is there anything you need? What are we doing this week? What are we doing next month? Because it's very fast-paced. It's a lot of money, and you need to use it quickly. So you have your deadlines have to be met. So that's what I would do. I would set up meetings. Would have meetings at 10 p.m. I would do the letters 4 a.m. and then tell my teammates, okay, here, sign. And then I take it to the Dean of Students' office, or something else happens. So my education really took a back seat, and I regret actually taking a back seat on my education, because that's the primary reason you're in school. So I skipped a number of classes. At some point, I was the subject of discussion in my department. They were wondering, why is it that Grace is not performing as she used to do? There are sacrifices. I think with everything, there's sacrifices. I think for me, it was challenging. It was really, really challenging. But I'd say somehow, yeah, I managed. And then with engineering, you just have to be strong towards the exams. So if you play around, at that time for exams, that's it. There's nothing that's going to save you. But I'd say I managed quite well, and I'm looking forward to graduate with a very high distinction still. So yes. So actually, sorry to take you back, but one of my goals was to be the first ever chairlady of Faculty of Engineering. There has never been a female leader of either the College of Architecture and Engineering, in UNSA, in the history. Considering engineering they only started accepting female students the last 30 years ago. It's not long, 30 to 50 years. That's when the first female student, exactly. It's a long time. Okay, not 50 years, yeah, 30 years. So I'd say I wanted to be the first lady who was able to stand up to that position. So, I wanted to get to be the governor or the chairperson, but I didn't. I went higher. So in that respect, I think probably if we look at history, I'm probably the first leader who's a female student from the Faculty of Engineering.
You are in the books of history.
Yes, I'm in the books of history from my faculty rising to the position of UNSA Council as a lady. So I'd say that's a glass ceiling that I was able to break, and I'm very proud of. In that sense, how I motivate, especially young women, I have a lot of mentees that I talk to and I give advice. And what I tell them is to have a goal. Like if your goal is to get into the UNSA president or UNSA chairperson position, do not let anything deter you from that position. In this university especially, there are a lot of factors that come in, especially when you're a lady who wants to seek for such a position. There are people who look at you, one, it's either you're unserious or it's let's try and take as much from this person as possible in terms of resources. How can we eat as much money as we can before you get there, and then leave you on the way? So I tell them, if your goal is to get to the seat, then cut all distractions, cut people who have any ulterior motives. There are certain people who will come and say, oh, this is my girlfriend, and that's it for you. There are certain people who come up with rumors that, oh, I saw Grace at this point at night doing I don't know what. Do not give people a reason to talk badly about you, and do not give people a platform or a chance, even an opportunity to say that for this and this reason, this person should not make it. So being a lady is very sensitive in this university. You should be able to wear that pridefully, but at the same time with a lot of caution, that you cannot trust everyone. And then another thing I normally tell ladies is you should surround yourself with people who can be a barrier to everything else. One thing that helped me is that I had a barrier of friends and loyalists that really protected me, and really they were able to filter a lot of the backlash that came to me, negativity. And I feel like your real friends are the people who don't tell you what other people are telling you, but rather tell you just enough for you to understand what is happening on the ground. You don't have to listen to everyone. Si kila mtu anajua ground, niko na ground, niko na votes, niko na nini. No. People have a lot of lies, especially when they want money or they've seen you as a target of something. So I'd say believe in yourself first, trust in God. God will help you massively, and just put your head to the ground. Do not look at what your opponents are doing. Put your head on the ground and then have a strategy. If you want to get from point A to point B, there's always a way of getting there. You can either go the longest way, seek I don't know whose approval, go to the VC, go to the you want everyone's approval. You won't get there. You will never get there by wanting to be the best in their eyes. They don't care. They meet hundreds of people per day. They know so many students. So for you to be outstanding is not by being a shining star in their eyes. they don't have any votes. So what I'm saying is pick the shortest way to success, but you better be ready to work the hardest to get to where you have to be. Yeah.